what you said earlier, that a lot of entrepreneurs quit too soon, right? They didn't let that crop really flourish. Tenacity, you got to keep getting up.
Welcome to Clicks and Bricks Podcast. We talk about the entrepreneur mindset, everything from that Main Street brick and mortar to that billion-dollar manufacturer. Be sure to head over to clicksandbricksacademy.com so you can access all the resources to start improving your sales today.
Welcome back to Clicks and Bricks. My name is Ken. Today we have Ada. He's the founder of Frizbit, an innovative software that really helps engage your users with your e-commerce store. How are you doing today, Ada?
I'm totally fine, Ken. Thanks for having me. And you?
Thank you for joining us. I'm doing fantastic. A little under the weather with allergies today, but we're pushing through with the right meds. So good to have you on today. You are, what country are you in?
So I'm in Barcelona, Spain.
Barcelona, Spain. So you're ending your day and we're just getting started. So thank you so much for staying up a little late and pushing through with us. We definitely appreciate it and happy to hear your story. Can you tell the audience a little bit about you and what your business does?
Okay, so I am Atagür and I'm co-founder and CEO of Frizbit. And Frizbit is a marketing automation platform for e-commerce. And basically what we do is based on the user behavior on the website, we send personalized and automated messages based on user behavior.
Fantastic. So prior to opening Frizbit, you were working at a large e-commerce company and you decided to leave there and start your own company. Can you tell the audience about the story and some of the trials that you came across with leaving the corporate world and starting into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, basically, yes. Just before starting Frizbit, I was a head of digital marketing at the e-commerce company. And I realized, I was using different digital marketing channels and different digital marketing platforms like ads, emails, different tools. And in the end, one technology came up, which was like web push notifications that I can talk in more detail later. And when this technology came up with one of my ex-co-founders of my previous startup attempt, he came up with an idea, he asked me, do you think it's going to be a alternative digital marketing channel? And I said, yeah, it's real. So then we started working together and built a software. I was still working at this e-commerce company while my co-founders were building the software. And one day they came up with we made it. Would you like to test it? And I tested it on company that I working at. And then I said, yeah, that's what we might need. And then I quit company and then moved to the startup.
Fantastic. So is that product what Frizbit does now, or was that a different business?
It was a similar business, but it was much more primitive. The first version of the product was only able to send web push notifications and nothing with automation, nothing with personalization. Basically, it was just, a way to send promotions, bulk promotions to the subscribers of that website through push notifications. Still, it was a marketing technology, but it was much more basic.
I am a firm believer that over time, every company in the world will have an e-commerce component to their business. Doesn't matter what they are. The local gym, the local Subway shop, the sandwich shop, whatever it is, will have their brick and mortar and an e-commerce. Now, you specialize in more strictly e-commerce business, I think. But over time, I think it's really important for all business owners to understand and have an e-commerce component to their business. A local business, the only way they can really grow outside of their current reach, their geographical reach, is by adopting services online. What's the one thing that an e-commerce store can do today that's the most affordable, that's going to give them the best bang for their buck?
Yes. So, most people think that e-commerce is very easy and they will start generating sales at the first day. It can be the case, but the first day it's not going to be profitable. And the reason is that you have to spend a lot of money on ads to drive traffic to your website. And then, the people goes through a funnel and then, they check products, they add to basket, and then they some of them buy, but on average, 98% of the users leave the website without purchasing. So the lowest hanging fruit there to increase your profitability and generate more sales is recovering those abandoned carts. And you can do it through different channels. You can do emails, you can do SMS, you can do push notifications. That has a lot of impact.
So what you're talking about is somebody's come to your website, they put something in the shopping cart, and then they leave it, right? Traditionally, if that was a brick and mortar store, you would just be out that money. But with e-commerce, you can now retarget those customers that put something in a cart, left it there, and then went on. And I can tell you that my wife, she is a brilliant woman. She puts stuff in the cart intentionally knowing that if she abandons the cart, she might get a discount code in the next 24 hours. So, and this is, does Frizbit have a component like that helps the user communicate on abandoned carts?
So we connect to, like any online shop can connect to Frizbit by installing either our plugins or like basically just adding the codes to their websites through Google Tag Manager or any other platform. And then, after it is integrated, they can observe where the users are leaving their stores. And at each stage of the abandonment, they can create different automation scenarios and different templates. So that is, in Frizbit, we can activate those kind of campaigns in 3 channels. Email is probably the most known one. Like probably many users have experienced one at least once that they receive a cart abandonment email. But also we provide 2 other channels. One is cart abandonment SMSs. This only, the text messages. This is a channel which is mainly like not preferred to be used, but actually text messages have a really high click-through rate. And the other one is called web push notifications. And web push notifications is basically the web or browser version of the push notifications we know for mobile apps. And it allows the websites to re-engage with their users even though they don't have any personal data.
And you said that SMS is not the preferred method. You think that's the e-commerce store owner because they don't have the cell number, or do you think it's just frowned upon from the end user?
For both, in online shops, they can enable, on their checkout pages, if they ask for the phone number field, basically they can do it, but most of the websites have that enabled at the first step of the checkout. Usually they ask at a later stage when the user enters their address, but it works. But I think mainly marketers also have that prejudice, I would say, that the users would be disturbed if they send text messages. And that is something in their mind. There are discussions about that, but I think in the end they have to test and then decide. And what we see in our clients is it brings a lot of profitability.
Right. It brings text messaging adds tremendous value to your business. However, this Thanksgiving and Black Friday, I think we saw an abundance of them, more than we've ever seen in the past. So I think the tip, if I were to give anybody a tip, if you're in business and you're going to utilize SMS or text messaging in your business, you better make darn sure that the value that you're creating in that text message is real, right? Don't spam your users. You will get blocked really quickly and they'll have a bad taste in their mouth. So if you're going to use text messaging, make sure that you're creating a tremendous amount of value that's in that message, and do not spam them. They will block you really, really quickly.
Exactly. I definitely agree, because that is the main difference. If you send a non-personalized spam type of, bulk messages, the users will hate it. But if you remind them about what they were planning to buy, in the end, like you are reaching out to a person who had real interest on what you offer. So yeah, in the end, that is why it is also very profitable.
You had an idea and you jumped ship. You made that commitment to move forward, and you've had a couple of pivots since then. Can you tell the audience what you think the 3 key tools that you had that made you successful and kept you pushing forward during those times when, you're like, oh, this idea just isn't going to work? How did you move? So what are your 3 key habits or tools that you think every entrepreneur needs if they're making this journey?
I tried twice before this startup and I failed. They were different type of startups, but anyways, like I always had this passion to become an entrepreneur and like found a startup in technology, like using technology. And I started at like probably the last, like when I was a senior student, probably at college, and I failed in the first two. And the first reason that I failed in one of them, in the first one, is basically because I didn't know the sector. So I think you have to know a little bit about the pain that you are solving with that startup, and you have to know the industry well that it is serving. So this increases the success rate of the startup a lot. And that is like basically what I did in the last one. I specifically started a business on the sector that I know very, very well. I worked on digital marketing almost all my professional career. And I worked in e-commerce, and I founded a business, a startup, a digital marketing technology for e-commerce companies. So basically I knew the sector, which increased a lot the success rate. To your question, I think those three crucial points should be, at least based on my experience. The first is know-how, as just I explained. The second one is patience, because most of the entrepreneurs, like first-time entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs, I would say, they don't spend enough time and they don't become patient. And most of the time, the startup becomes profitable and you spend enough time to discover what is the real customer need that you are resolving. So, and most of the time you need to make pivots. Like in this startup also, as I mentioned earlier, the product that we have now is a pivot of the previous one. So they have to be patient enough. And the third is probably know to get up when you fall down, because I fell down twice, and in order to do that, I had to get up twice.
Absolutely. So I think to summarize those, knowledge, patience, and tenacity, I think are three absolute keys. And the knowledge, I think where you really dived into there that I loved is knowledge on the problem that you're solving, right?
Yeah.
And for the audience, if you're inventing something, there's a lot of different ways to go into business, right? You can buy a franchise, you can invent something, you can create a service that just, services your community. There's a lot of different ways that you can do stuff. But if you're going to invent something, you're going to create something for the world, the bigger problem that you solve, the more money you can make, right? So there's a lot of easy problems that you can solve, and there's a lot of different solutions out there, like, emailing services and website services and things like that are now commonplace, easy problems to solve. So the value for them is very low. But if you can solve a really high problem, like increasing sales from 98% of the people that go to your website to buy something, that now it's 75% buy something, that's, huge. And I think I have those numbers flipped around, right? A 98% abandonment rate to a 75% abandonment rate would be a huge number for a business. And that is a big problem of abandoned carts. So that's a solution the problem that you solved was people are leaving my store and I have no way to communicate to them again, right? And then that's how you solve that through text notifications, push notifications, and email, right? All three of those functions. So fantastic. I think those are great things. Patience is huge. It took me forever to learn patience. And I have, maybe a little bit of patience now. I don't think my patience bucket's really big. So, but it is when I have a dream, right? And I have passion for something. I get more patient when I really want something. And I think kind of the analogy that you could use there, if you're a farmer doesn't plant his seeds and go out the next day and burn the field because there's no crop, right? You have to plant those seeds and let them come up and nurture them and let them come to fruition, right? And I think what you said earlier, that a lot of entrepreneurs quit too soon, right? They didn't let that crop really flourish. Tenacity, you got to keep getting up. Every single time you fall, get right back up and keep moving forward. And don't let anybody or anything tell you that you can't.
Exactly. And that's also a really, really good point. I mean, on the way, like through all this journey, like you will hear a lot of people telling you, no, you cannot do it because of something. Or like if it was a really good idea, somebody else should have done it earlier. No,
Absolutely.
It's not the case.
What do you see the future of technology for your industry over the next 5, 10 years, or whatever you see coming up really on the horizon that people need to know about?
Okay, so I think the most important, news which is coming to digital marketing technology it's about third-party cookies. So basically, third-party cookies, I think everybody knows that, the websites force us to accept them, is the main technology that is required by retargeting ads. So, which means that in order to, show the most relevant ads regarding the behavior of the user that they have done previously on the website, in order to show those ads, technology is used currently is third-party cookies. When user accepts third-party cookies, follows them in all these, newspapers or like magazines, etc. This is still a huge industry. Like almost any e-commerce website is using retargeting ads because it's easier to use, like Google, Facebook, or there are some other providers. And Google Chrome did an announcement like around a year ago, or maybe a year and a half ago, and said that they are prohibiting the use of third-party cookies. So it's gonna be, these are going to be obsolete in 2023. Previously, it was supposed to be 2022, and then they decided to postpone it to 2023. So in more or less 1.5 years, third-party cookies will become obsolete. It's not only Chrome, like almost all the major browsers followed Chrome.
Right. So if Chrome makes a decision, everybody else generally follows in lockstep. So this is pretty huge. Now, the difference between a third-party cookie and a first-party cookie is I can still have a cookie on my website. So when somebody revisits my website, I can say, "Hi, John, how are you doing today?" So I can know who that user is if they're entering my website. But a third-party cookie would be where they go to my website and I drop a cookie on the end user's computer. And now I know where they're going in other places. This is how people talk about the magic of the internet. They think that, oh, I didn't ever go to I'm now getting ads for this thing that I didn't necessarily look for. And it's because these third-party cookies are so good at tracking you in almost every aspect of your life. If you're online, if you're on your phone, if you're on your computer, right? They do a great job of tracking you and correlating you back to the behaviors of other people that are doing similar things to you. So it's pretty crazy stuff. And removing the third-party cookies, I think it's a good thing for the world as a whole, right? It's a little less creepy, but I think marketers will find a way.
At the moment, some of them are like announcing new technologies that they are developing, because that's a like billion-dollar industry, and like Facebook and Google, they are working on it to develop an alternative technology. I think in the end, it is definitely a good improvement, because there's no meaning to, like asking the users, forcing the users to, accept something. And in the end, like the websites is not going to let the users do anything unless they accept. I mean, that is just annoying. And also it's a very old technology at the same time.
Yeah, so I think right now, if you to combat this, if you're an e-commerce or website builder, or if you're doing, online anything, I think the next best thing to the cookie would be the Facebook pixel and all the different pixel technologies that you can use today. You can do a lot of retargeting with that pixel if you know how to do it.
Well, yes and no, because like at the moment, they are using third-party cookies. Like Facebook is using third-party cookies. So
even with the pixel installation?
Yes.
Okay. Is the browser looking at that Facebook pixel as a third-party cookie?
Yes, because like what that pixel does is going to, it will install a cookie on the website. So the new technology which will be developed is hopefully will not include cookies. That's going to be probably a pixel which doesn't require cookie. But we will see.
Okay. Some kind of pixel tag to keep tracking. But first-party cookies are going to stick around, so your website that you go to still knows who you are, still can interact, still can save your settings and all of those things, right? Which is good. It gives a more interactive experience to an individual website, but it won't track you through the entire internet and know everything that you...
Exactly, totally correct. I mean, just to, I think you explained really well, but to make the distinction, first-party cookie is like, it is limited for the use within that website.
Correct.
Third party is in all other world. So that is why, like, you can still, using first-party cookies, you can personalize the experience on the website or out of the website. For example, at Frizbit, we use first-party cookies. So when these third-party cookies will be eliminated, first-party cookies is going to be the default method that you can do, that you are limited to, and you can still do this kind of email retargeting, push notification retargeting,
Right.
text message retargeting.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I very much appreciate it. Do we have any offers for the audience today that you could give out for Frizbit?
Yes, so we are offering a free trial for e-commerce companies, which is like if they are over 50,000 monthly visits, we offer them a 1 month free trial without any commitment. And because we know that they are going to be happy afterwards. And yeah, you can basically just go to frizbit.com and like fill out the form and get in touch with us, and then we will contact back to you.
Fantastic. Thank you for your time so much today, Ada. I appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy, and I'll let you get back to work. That's
Thank you.
Today's show,
Ken.
folks. Again, my name is Ken. If you'd like to join my text line community, my number is 314-370-2871. Get to work.